Good morning, man. Hey. All right. Restream is going. Let's see how it works here. Chats. All right. I think people can chat with me. We're live hopefully on Facebook and YouTube too. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Every Sunday and every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., we do this call. And the purpose, oh, hold on. The purpose of this call is to bring more peace, more clarity, and to our business and our relationships. And it's to collapse really the gap between spirituality and the material things. This week we've sent out a book to everybody in our community, and it's called The Abundance Book. The Abundance Book really changed my life. It's I feel like it's basically a course in miracles, but about money. And so I'm going to start this call today by reading off a couple quotes that comes from the Abundance Book. And hopefully you can it shifts you and moves you in some way. All right. So the Abundance Book, there's a couple quotes inside the Abundance Book, but quoting other people. So this is Annie Millets in Book of Riches and Honor, a unity book. Worldly riches have been feared, despised, condemned, and even hated by spiritual aspirants because of ignorance of how to be in them and yet not of them, how to possess them and not to be possessed by them. Doubtless, doubtless, this attitude of ignoring wealth is less deceiving than the other error: greed and ownership of money and the fear of losing riches. But really the wise avoid both attitudes through knowing worldly wealth to be a reflection of the spiritual riches that must be sought first, last, and always. Having found the riches of heaven, you cannot escape the riches of earth unless you purposely repudiate them. And, I love that it's really about finding and focusing your consciousness and your awareness to the cause of things. See, the Course says projection makes perception, which means my projection is the cause of the worldly things that show up in my life. Money itself is a reflection of the capacity in which I'm able to love the things of this world. And we may think that we love them, but we are actually scared of these things. We're scared of being successful. We're scared of other people judging us. There is so much fear around, and it operates all over in our space. So we don't really believe that there's love or love only. And so our capacity to love and our capacity to accept the world and see the world for what it is, not what we project it to be, is going to directly relate to and reflect how much money and how much abundance we have in this world. And so that leads us to the next quote, which is by um, Juan Kuhl, which is the externalization of the hierarchy. Remember that money is the consolidation of the loving, living energy of divinity, and that the greater the realization and expression of love, the freer will be the inflow of what of that which is needed to carry forth the work. So the greater the love, the greater service, the greater in which you help people and you make an impact in people's lives, the greater the inflow of the energy that is represented as money will be in your life to do the work that you're set out to do. And now the question comes back to what is the work that we're set out to do? Right? And that brings us back to A Course in Miracles. which the work that you're set out to do is to align your will to the will of God's. Or if you're not comfortable with God or the word or whatever associations you have with it, call it cosmic intelligence, call it the universe, call it whatever you want. That is the greater flow, the intelligence that is operating in this world. All right, so what is that? How do I align my will to that will? And so A Course in Miracles really brings us to the practices, because there are two worlds that are formed for us in our mind. And whatever world we believe in, we will project it out and then perceive it back as the reality of that. So that's the power of our mind. And it takes conscious effort every single moment to make it real and make it alive, to aliven it into our daily lives. And so, it's what the Course says, that when God is on my mind, God is what I see. When love is on my mind, love is what I see. And the more that you have love and God on your mind, and the more you recognize that my will is the will of the creators, of the fathers, then more money and more abundance, more energy is open to you so that you can do the work. And that work is to bring abundance and love to more people, to extend it, the Course calls it. So your job is really just simple. It's to extend love. And the way that we extend love is we inspire the light that is in everybody. That's the way that we extend love. That is the way that we fulfill our function in this world. We find our place in this world is to inspire other people to inspire, is what I call it. Right? You see, but you must be able to relinquish the judgment from yourself, from your mind first, so that you can see others in the space of light. I don't see other people based on their actions and the words that come out of their mouth. I see people based on what the Course says, Christ consciousness. That means I see the innocence in people. I always look to the innocence that is behind, the Christ consciousness that is behind the body that is of Alex, the identity that is of Alex. And so what the Course says is the tool to do that, hey, morning tech, is through forgiveness. Forgiveness is to give as before. I will see you as before. I will love as before. And the forgiveness process, the clearing of the stories that we operate from in our lives. Okay, so hang on one second. I think I got too many things streaming that is slowing down my connection. I don't know. Vegas has a really bad upload speed. Do you guys hear me on Zoom? Can you guys hear me okay and see me okay?
Yeah, but it's kind of slowing down, like you said.
Is the voice slowing down?
No,
Just a picture? Okay, I think it's good now. All right. And then there is another section in the abundance book that I want to read to you guys. And let's see if I can find it real quick. Okay. So then what is money, right? Money is an effect. When you concentrate on, and this is speaking directly into what I'm saying about focusing on the cause, not the effect. So money is an effect. When you concentrate on the effect, you're forgetting the cause. And when you forget the cause, the effect begins to diminish. When you focus your attention on getting money, you're actually shutting off your supply. You must begin this moment to cease believing that money is your substance, your supply, and your support, your security and your safety. Money is not, but God is. When you understand and realize this truth, the supply flows uninterrupted into perfect and abundant manifestation. So you focus on the cause, not the effect. When things happen to you in life, to you, I'm in quotation mark, quote unquote, when things happen to you, you got to look towards the cause of it. Because you might think, oh, the cause of it is this person, saying something, or this person cheated me, or this person stole from me. But then you got to look to the cause of that. And if you keep looking back, focusing on the cause, you will find that God or the universe or an intelligence is purposely doing this to teach you something and to give you something. For example, there was somebody that told me that a couple months ago. She's like, I'm ready to quit my job. I'm done. Like, my heart's not in it. I don't want to do it anymore. But because of the fear and because the cause for her, or she's focused on the effect, she's focused on the money that she needs to make. But so she stayed and she stayed and she stayed. And then last week she was fired. And the feeling of getting fired, see, if we focus on the effect, money, and getting fired, it's not a good feeling getting fired. She's like, man, I wish I would have just quit instead of getting fired. Well, really, what's the difference? You asked to leave your job and you left it. You asked and it is given. The form of it may not be the way that you want it, but it is given. Right? So that is it, the intelligence. God is always listening and always doing for you. The world is happening for you. So if you keep focusing on the cause of things, then you really find that, oh, there's a divine intelligence that is playing out here. And that is the secret to peace in your life. And peace is the prerequisite to happiness and joy and heaven. So you got to find peace. And any doubt, okay? So for those of you guys that think, oh, I'm always at peace. Well, that's, if you have any doubt, any questions, any confusion about anything, okay, there is not a greater level of losing peace or a smaller level of losing peace. All loss of peace is equally disturbing to your mind. You may think, oh, getting fired, that is making me lose my peace more than, I don't know, my dog barking or my dog shedding all over the place. I don't know. But all that loss of peace is equally disturbing to your mind. And they're all the same. So the focus is on cause. We start to flip things around, because if we focus on effects, we're actually giving power to things. If we focus on getting money, we give power to money and we don't really use money. It says that we don't, let me see what the line is that it actually says. One sec. We don't possess money. We are actually possessed by money. See, when we focus on the effects, we constantly give the power away. And if it's a relationship, if it's not money and it's your brother, it's your sister, it's your mom, it's your dad that you're unable to forgive, or somebody that broke your heart or whatever, and you're not able to forgive, you're focusing on the effect. And it takes the power away from you when you focus on the effects. So focus on the cause. What's the cause? The cause is what's on my mind. What am I projecting? I'm projecting something out there, and that's what I'm seeing it. And then beyond that, what's the cause of that? You're going to make it. If you focus on the cause of things, you will make your way back to God. That is a little nugget to start this call with. Focus on cause, not effect, for today. Okay, so yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Super grateful to be here today. Anybody have any questions, any thoughts from that opening statement? And that can come from anywhere in any of the streams that I'm doing. It could be on Instagram. It could be on, I don't even know if Restream is working, but Zoom. Anyone want to share anything and start the conversation off today?
Hey, Alex. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. All you beautiful souls.
Good morning.
Morning, morning. Yeah, man, I had an epic day yesterday. My mother-in-law went in for a surgery to remove some cancerous tissue, and we met together with my wife's sister, and the relationship that we've had for the last 20 years with her family and her children that she's raised, there was like a creation of separation for there. So like we were never invited to any of the kids' events. It was just because of different reasonings of her own, protecting of her children and everything. And how many times I realized that, I let that weigh on my heart so many times. And it created a closure and space in my heart for even my own abundance. Feeling like there was when I feel like there's an area of my life that I'm holding back on, and this was a huge one, that I close off a lot of things to possibility. And so yesterday, we for some reason we created this. We were in a space waiting for her to. My boss was going through surgery. It's a small procedure to get us out. So I took this long walk with her, and I finally just opened up my heart because I can't stand confrontation as it is in life. And I took that time to explain to her, just from my heart, from a place of accountability, what I had created for myself for the last 19 years because of this relationship tie. And man, as soon as I just let that come to the surface and let that go, I felt so much lighter. I felt so abundant. And I relate with the money conversation and just my own personal account. That's my account. I'm holding on to something in my life. I put myself in a deficit in life, and letting that go, I just freaking filled up my bank account to the utmost. And I was grateful that I, took that time to make that happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's really about the forgiveness of all the stories that we've held on to. Like you shared, it's you don't know what the outcome is, but we've placed it, we've made it a certain way by thinking it, by putting it on our mind. Right? That's why the Course says, what is on your mind? Okay, hold on. My mic isn't working for the rest of the stream. Okay, well, anyways, we'll fix that later. What's on my mind is what I will see, because there's the cause. See, the cause is me. The cause isn't somebody else. The cause is simply me. And beyond that, above that, I gain my power back every time that I recognize that the cause is me. And you start to recognize that you are in control of all the things in your life. Right? And I share this sometimes about my life when I lost everything. When I lost my restaurant, I lost my car, I lost my house, and I had nothing. And I blamed a lot of people. I was every day looking for new people to blame so that I can relieve myself of the responsibility of the position I put myself into. And I think, see, in this world, it makes sense, because if I give my guilt, if I give money away, okay, this is a new conversation for a second here. This is the physical law of giving and receiving versus the spiritual law of giving and receiving. I give something to you, I have less of it and you have more of it, right? I talk about this a lot. I hand you $5, then I'm $5 less, you have $5 more. See, in the energy exchange, energetic exchange, if I get rid of my guilt about the position I put myself in, then technically, according to the law of this material world, I should have less of it and somebody else should have more of it. That's how the ego plays it. But that's not really how it works, because everything, see, spiritually, energetically, everything is just simply an idea, a neutral idea. And the law of giving and receiving is that as it's given or as it's shared, it grows. See, that makes sense too, right? If I share love and I spread it, then I will feel more love and others will feel more love. Well, which is it? See, this is what confuses us. Our minds are confused because we're like, wait, on one end, if I give something away, I have less and they have more. And then on another end, if I give it and share it, now we both have more. You can't have it both ways. They are completely opposites in the principle, in the law. And you believe in one over the other every time. There is no, I can partially believe both. There's no halfway in, halfway out. The vision of one costs you the vision of the other. So then, all right, let me stop trying to give this this blame away and be a victim to all these things, because my guilt isn't getting any less. My guilt is actually growing, and I'm more and I put myself in that position even more. I'm feeling sorry for myself, and that energy just continues to grow. And until I finally decided, and it was really reading Abundance book and A Course in Miracles, that I'm projecting all of it. This is all me. Nobody did anything to me. I put myself here. When I start to take responsibility and accountability for all the things that happened, or when I started taking accountability, let's make some distinctions. Accountability points to the past, responsibility points to the future. So when I realized that I'm accountable for everything leading up to this moment in my life, I know that getting myself back to where I should be and getting myself back to the abundance mindset is my responsibility. It's no longer anybody else's. Right? So accountable, let me take accountability for all the things leading up to now, and then let me take responsibility of everything moving forward. That's taking your power back. See, you are now at the cause, not other people, whoever screwed me over, whoever didn't support me, whoever didn't lend me the money when I needed the money. I am the cause. Then if we dig deeper, what's the cause of people not supporting me at the time that I needed support? Because I must have done relationships incorrectly. But since that moment, since losing it all, I've focused on building deep relationships. And I know there will be no moment in my life that I will ever be there again because of the people that are in my life. People will not let that happen to me. I won't let that happen to me because of the bond and the relationship that I've built, the deposits that I've made in relationship with everyone. And really, all I'm doing is making deposits to myself. And as I recognize a brother truly or a sister truly, I recognize myself and I recognize God. And that is this real source, and the real effect right there is God. God, your function, like I said earlier, your function and your job and your role here is to play the part that God is having you play. Is to align your will to the will of your Father, of the Creator. And how do we do that? We do that every day by giving up what I think is best for me, what I think is best for others. You know, Helen Schuckman in the Course of Miracles somewhere, she wrote that, God, today I will give up my desire to want to help him. I will do as you will have me. You will have me do. And what you will, I will to do. I believe that's the line. So she really wanted to help her colleague, Bill Thetford, William Thetford. He was the catalyst for Helen Schuckman to go into an entire download of A Course in Miracles. They worked at Columbia University, Hi, it's very intense. And I know a lot of people here work in environments that may be really intense. And it's not even that it's actually intense, it's just that we perceive it to be intense. Again, not focusing on the effects of something, right? I'm projecting it to be intense, so it's intense. Get that power back. But he said, there must be another way in which we can work harmoniously. This can't be it. People stepping on top of each other, talking behind each other's backs, not wishing for good for others. There must be another way. And she said, yes, I'm with you, Bill. There must be another way. See, the asking of there must be another way is the opening of the channel. Because you're saying in this moment, I'm willing to let go of my own personal strength. What I perceived as my own personal strength, I'm willing to receive information to download now. I'm in a position to receive. See, that's another battle that we have every day. We think we're receiving, we're doing, we're giving, we're doing, we're giving, we're jumping back and forth. Like, yes, I'm receiving. Okay, I'm going to channel. I'm going to trust today. And then we go right back to trusting in ourselves. And if you don't think you're doing that, every moment today, catch yourself judging something. The smallest judgments. The smallest that I am the cause of something. Or that I am at the effect of something. Every time you do that, you're pulling power away from our true source, from the Father, from God, from universe, to yourself, and making yourself bigger, and it only distorts. It's actually not making yourself bigger, it's actually upside down. You make yourself smaller. So the way that we want to look at the world, is, and money, is how do we make money more like love? And I talk about this conversation a lot. Not how do I make love more like money, because that's going to end up happening. Whatever you believe in, it will flood out into all areas of your life. And if you truly want to be in a space of abundance, got to focus on the cause of things. What's the cause of my disturbance? What's the cause of my uncertainty, my doubts? What's the cause of my sadness? What's the cause of my anxiety? It's not the world out there. See, the ego is going to say, this is what the ego does. The ego does, it's all the world. You are exempt from any blame, anything. And so it makes you say, okay, yeah, I like that idea. I don't want to be, I don't want this responsibility. I don't want to take accountability of what happened to me. So I'm going to throw it out and blame it into the world. And all that does is continue to rob yourself of your own personal power. And then you become a victim. And as you become a victim, because ideas grow as it is shared, this victim mindset expands and grows and grows. And we all know the people out there that are negative all the time about everything, right? Especially if you're in the transformational program, or you're in transformational work, personal development work, or if you're in multifamily, you're doing investing, or if you're in some sort of multi-level marketing, we all know that others judge very quickly. And it's hard for us, because what our ideas are, whatever is going on in my mind, I will project it out into the world and make that real. So I don't want the responsibility of all of it. But it grows, because that is the law of giving and receiving. To hold on to something is to share it, is to give it. And this is why generosity and abundance and giving, okay, is at the top of almost all religions across the world. And if we don't focus on any messages in the Bible, in the Quran, in any of the Eastern philosophy texts, and we only focus on the charity and the giving part of it, wisdom of the ancients, wisdom of the world of God will come to you if you just focus on charity, generosity, sharing, because you'll realize that the more that I share, the more that I give, the more generous I am, the more flows back into me. Because that is simply the law of giving and receiving. And if we truly understand the law of giving and receiving, and we choose it, we have to choose it consciously every day. Because for us, it is scary. We traded our time for money. So to give money, it equates back to my time. And because I believe I have a limited amount of time, even though we give our time freely all the time for money, we still believe somewhere inside that now we've associated money as the main cause. I'm here for the money. And as you focus on the money, like I read earlier, you lose sight of the supply. Okay, where did the money come from? If money is identified as an energy, where does this energy of money come from? That's the focusing on the cause. See, money is an effect. In this conversation, we can go on for a long time, and I just keep landing it a little bit here and there because there's new people hopping on. But I will open it up for a conversation shortly here. Is as you're focused on the supply, as you're focused on the effects, you lose sight of the supply. And as you lose sight of your supply, it diminishes your effect, the effects, which is the money. So when you focus on the money, it actually is a resistance to the money itself. It's a resistance to the supply. And then we wonder, man, I just been running in circles. This is the rat race right here. The chasing of money and the enslavement of our mind to money. We no longer possess money, but we are possessed by money. All right, so focus on the cause. Keep going. Keep going until the cause leads you to God. And then understand that the energy, the giving and receiving, how the law of giving and receiving works, that takes conscious effort. See, the late Bob Proctor had this shifting of the paradigm. And the way we shift the paradigm is that we have to shift our subconscious mind. There is a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. We operate 95% of the day through our subconscious mind. And that's where the ego easily comes in because it programs things. It's like hacking into your mind and it programs these fear thoughts. And you respond automatic. They're automatics. There's no event. And then what happened with the event? And there's no route from the event to the reaction. It goes straight from event to reaction. And in order for us to break that, we have to interrupt that it isn't just event to reaction. It's event to what happened, all the things, the limiting beliefs that were in place, the stories that I told. What do I really want? We interrupt all of those things until we realize that the event that happened doesn't really require this reaction. And maybe it takes 10, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 interruptions for the subconscious to consciously be programmed. I'll give an example that I give all the time. You drive a car. You're driving on the highway, somebody cuts you off. Because you've had some sort of programming about that you should react with anger because it kind of shocked you for a second. Because you think you should react with anger, you curse the person out, you yell at this person, and all you're doing is losing peace for yourself. The other person's just driving off. But they cut you off, and now you're freaking out. That is a subconscious reaction. And to shift this paradigm, when somebody cuts you off, in the moment, you have to stop yourself and say, is this the reaction I want? Does it require this type of reaction? Is this how I want my family to see me? Is this how I want people to see me? Is this how I want to be remembered by? That I react like this. All right, here's an interruption. And then you're like, no, okay, you find yourself at peace. Whatever reasoning you have to do, you do that. Yeah, and it takes every single day. See, the spiritual practice itself, it's an everyday programming, conscious programming of your subconscious mind. And as you live in the present, as you live consciously, life comes to life. Life comes to life. I like that. Life comes to life. It's not a routine anymore. But most of us live on this routine. Every day in the morning, oh man, I got to get a coffee because coffee is the only way that I can operate. See, that's a subconscious programming. We don't even think about the words that we're saying out of our mouth. And then we say it so much that we just try to enroll other people into it. And then for you to feel like you got to be liked, we're like, yeah, same thing. I like this conversation. Let's all join in the idea that let's be addicted to coffee. I was like that every day, every morning. Get up, get in my car, drive to Starbucks, wait in this long ass line, get that egg white little muffin thing with wow, I don't even remember what I get anymore. See, I interrupted it so much I can't even remember it. But that was my routine for like years. And when I got off of it, I actually had physical sickness for days from not drinking coffee. That's crazy. What else are we doing with that? What's the sickness that we have about money? What's the fear of losing it, of not having it? See, we continue you're either making money the cause or the effect of your life. You're either giving it more power or not. And the less power you give it and you recognize that that is an effect of something else, then you focus on something else. And there's a lot of great motivational speakers, all the wealthy people out there, they keep telling you, stop focusing on the money. Focus on service to people. Focus on chasing purpose. Focus on cultivating your creativity. Focus on those things. And then money just comes. This morning, somebody actually messaged me and said, hey, man, I know you shared on my call one time that you do 11 phone calls a day. What's that even amounted to? See, he wasn't willing to do that. He's like, I don't got enough time for that. I'm just going to throw one call a week and that's it. But not focused. See, this is not focused on one-on-one quality relationships. And I did 11 phone calls, almost at least 11 phone calls a day for an entire year. I did that. And then people are like, man, how are you so successful and so quick to create things in your life? And you're in this multifamily game for 1 year. How did you go that fast? It's the every single day practice. It's the every day of people are like, oh man, I hate my 9 to 5. It's such a long day. Dude, yesterday I started at 6 a.m. I didn't finish my call until 6 p.m. And it's kind of like that every single day. And then at 6 p.m., there's another call. I do a call for a group of people. So if you think you're working a lot, 9 to 5, 9 to 5 is the easy way. And so when you've built when you've been in service for so long, that's the cause. The effect is that people show up for you. People trust you. And that you impact their life and they impact you. I have a virtual conference I'm throwing. It's called Impact. And it's about How do you impact people, and how do you allow yourself to be impacted? I'm seeking for somebody to impact me, but also I'm looking to impact others. Focus on on just that itself for the next year. If you focus on just that for the next year, see what the results are. People are going to ask, man, how did you get here so fast? But it's an everyday conscious effort of bringing your practices that's going to shift your own paradigm, which will manifest in a certain way with money, with the results that you want. The results that you get in life are directly in alignment to the work that you put in, to the consciousness that you live by, to the laws that you practice, the law of giving and receiving. It takes work to challenge your automatic. So the conscious mind, we have to interrupt the subconscious mind. And as we interrupt the subconscious mind, now my reaction to somebody cutting me off is I can't even see it. I don't even know it happened. Because your subconscious mind was consciously programmed. So anytime that you lose your peace, anytime that you're uncertain and you question, oh, am I in the right place? Freedom comes from choosing your choice. I choose my choice. But so many of us make a choice and then we question it. We question it until, because the more you question it, the more that energy grows. You're going to find the reason why you shouldn't be here. You're going to find the reason why you shouldn't continue reading A Course in Miracles when you've opened it. You made a choice to buy the book. And then we're like, nah, it's too hard. And it sits on the bookshelf. There's a joke in the community that everybody, the A Course in Miracles community, that A Course in Miracles is a book that collects the most dust. Everyone knows they want it and the information that's in there and what it can do. But I'll put it off. I'll put it off tomorrow. Next year, I'm going to start studying. Next year, I'm going to start practicing. And I do it too. Every single year, I'm like, I'm going to do the lessons once a day. Dude, it's not even 1 month in. 30 lessons in, I already missed a day. Right? And the same thing is happening. Now I got an easier book. Okay? The Abundance book. It's a 40-day practice. 40-day practice. We started like 5 days ago. I've restarted 4 times. Because if you miss a day, you start over. And it's cool. Because I remember the first time that I did this, it took me like 4 or 5 months to do it. Actually, no, it took me longer. It took me 9 months to actually do the 40 days. And I was like, yes. I was so focused on this practice, giving myself 15 minutes a day. I was in such a bad place financially. And by the end of actually accomplishing it, somebody had invested in a real estate deal with me. And that deal changed my whole life. Quickly, within a year and a half, I went from 460K in debt, 400 credit score, living in a 150, 175 square foot utility spot, to making $20,000 a month. I was down and out. I was down and out, blaming everybody. And then the Abundance book came. Somebody gave it to me. This is why everybody that joined my community, immediately the first thing I do, I tell my VA, hey, actually the first thing I do is put your address in the in our contact sheet. And then I tell my VA, hey, anytime you see an address that pops up on the sheet, you go on my Amazon and you send a copy of this book to them. And we practice, we talk about it. Everything that I want to create in my life is in this book. And is in A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles is a bigger version, and the Abundance book is a pocket version. And I didn't even know they had this little pocket version. I'm going to carry this around everywhere in my life with me now. I'm going to order like 100 copies. Like this is my own book. I'm going to have a whole box of this. I'm going to carry it around everywhere. Anytime I see scarcity, anytime I see people struggling, I'm going to hand this book to them. Okay, I'll take a break right here. Anybody want to share anything? Any thoughts?
day 5.
You're on day 5?
Yeah, I actually did it after we finished playing last night because I do it at night. So I have it in my brain all night long. And I did it last night at 1 o'clock. Well, shit, I missed it. It was after 12.
Snap.
Shit.
Well, your 1 o'clock is really 10 o'clock my time, so you can justify it. I think if you actually did it, just give yourself the credit.
All right.
You still got 35 more consecutive days to go.
You know what I've done also, since it's such a short book, like every 2 days, everything, I just start from the beginning because I love the beginning. I love the first part and everything. How it talks about the history of basically God, where scarcity came from. We didn't always have this mindset, of scarcity.
Mhm.
At one point, we knew who we were and where all our abundance came from, and then shit went wrong in the.
Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Jessica. At some point, so the beginning of the book talks about the history of this knowledge that we've once had. We knew how to operate from abundance. We knew that our source, that the cause of all the material things and the money and the love and the relationships that we have, it comes from within. See, your capacity to love and your capacity to truly serve others, that is going to manifest into money. And it talks about that people knew this information before. All the religions aligned to the same thing before. But at some point in history, fear won. Fear won. And the fearful grew. See, we talk a lot about in our community about the 2%. One person, okay? 2% is one person in 50, right? One person in a group of 50 can greatly affect all 50 people. The limitations of this one person can change the entire frequency of the group. Now, also, one person can change the frequency of that 50 in a positive way, bringing the abundance energy to 50 people. You can make that difference too. And so if you ever thought that somehow you don't know your voice, you don't know your gifts, you don't know your offerings, just think about that for a second. You walk into a room and you command the energy of 50 people. You command the mindset of 50 people. And this is why we believe in the 2%. If we're going to touch the lives of 160 million people, we're going to need to have a strong and a big community, because 160 million is 2% of 8 billion. See, at some point in history that happened. Fear, 2% expressed and taught fear. And so this knowledge of connecting yourself to God and to the power within, it disappeared. This knowledge was carried on by the knights, by the Freemasons, by the people that had to do it in secret and would be executed for passing this information around. Books were burned. Probably civilizations were wiped out because of it. But it kept carrying forth, and I believe it's coming back now. It's coming back. A lot of people stepping into, or at least looking to discover, spiritual path. That there's something else out there besides money. See, the generation that came before us, or before me, worked 9 to 5. Looked to invest very conservatively and hoped that the promise at the end was what was promised, which we found out that it was not, right? And what happened? What was wrong? We had to question it, because what was promised to us, going to school, getting good grades, get a good job, retire at 65 with a whole bunch of money. Like, hardly anybody hit it. What happened? Where was this promise? So then my generation became like rebels. They were like, nah, we're not doing it. And now the generation after us, I already see it in my young Padawan, my protege, Nick. He's like, I ain't working a $10 an hour job. And I don't really feel like going to college right away. I want to explore. Because what was promised to the two generations, the generation before the one above mine, did not happen. The one above mine is showing me that they don't need to walk that path. So why would I even let me go and explore now? Right? And technology is giving us the ability to do that. To scale everything. To bring massive abundance into our lives. And I was talking to one of my good friends. He's like, I have all this money, but I don't want my kids to have it. They need to work again and start over. Start where I started so they can learn the same things I learned. I mean, if you think about that right there, so that I can die and they can start over and do what I did so they can die at the same place that I died. I want my kids to not have to worry or think about money at all, not at any level. Because every one of us right now, our dreams and our goals tied to money. If money was not even an issue, not even a thought, what would goals and dreams be? What would a small goal be? Let me make sure that this village has fresh drinking water. That's a small goal. That's what I want my kids to be thinking. That's what I want the next generation to think. Because broken free from the money chain, from the money game. And that's a good book right there. Busting loose from the money game. Okay. Questions, thoughts? Yo, what's up? Thoughts, questions? Let's see. Love hearing about the struggles you've gone through and losing everything and how that you shaped it to your success. Yeah, everything. Not just my losses, not just my struggles. All the people that loved me also contributed equally to my success. Go for it. Somebody want to say something? I hear things. Okay. I guess y'all just want to hear me talk. I will. Yep. Let's see. What else?
Pretty much, really, we do want to hear you talking. That's the main thing. But I do want to share because, as I mentioned to you before, when you started sharing this on Instagram, and I know now it's on YouTube, now I felt like, oh, now I cannot talk. I cannot share openly because now it's not like this closed, safe place. And the same thing is happening in the Legends group for me. So you see, it's the same, I don't know, it's really trust, right? That this is going to be landing loving ears, basically, right? Like someone who cares, and I cannot control that anymore. So it's really, at the end of the day, it's trust and our controlling mind, our ego. It's so tricky. So that's why I said the other day, it's like, so who cares, Martin? Like, who cares? Who listens to this? It's like it's not on my control anymore, and that's okay. That's fine. So the only thing is I have to share is today we were just like, checking some payments that we need to do with my husband, and all of a sudden I just like that scarcity mindset hit like day one, so really it's a daily practice. If you don't let your I don't know, the monkey brain, take over, you can remind yourself what you just said. It's like abundance doesn't have to be, of course, it is part of. It's a very important part of, because unfortunately I cannot go to the bank and say, hey, I'm gonna deposit, the love and carry thoughts that I'm getting from people that loves me. I cannot do that. So obviously currency, it's also part of that abundance, right? But I want to share something that I heard Tony Robbins said once, and it really hit home with me, because I mean, we take so much for granted. And he said, if you start just trying to feel abundant for the road you are driving on, for the movie that was invested, I don't know how many, millions of dollars and all this talent, so you could be entertained for 2 hours. If you can start seeing all this abundance around you, then you are already there. You just have to manifest it in your life in a material way. So that's where I'm at right now, because I know for a fact I have an issue with money. Like I know it's like, and I think it starts also with beliefs. It's like, what they say is like money is I think it's the root of all evil and things of that nature. We are told since we are so little. So now it's like I'm trying to unlearn and get a new belief inside. So that's all I wanted to share. So thank you. And I think, hey, hi Heather, I can see you drinking water. I think you you have to unmute. Anyhow, thank you, Alex.
Hey, so first of all, thank you. When we do this, happens to us a lot. When we get into a place, we feel safe and comfortable with somebody, and we're like, okay, this is safe. We actually make a space special. And I'll talk, and we think love is specialness. This is the problem. And then we make something special and we set expectations for it. And then, of course, what we do is we push the line of specialness towards that person. We're like, hey, my success depends on you. Hey, my upsetness depends on you. My anxiety depends on you. My love and everything depends on you. And we just keep pushing it towards them. See, this is the ego's tricky part, is we make everything special. And then now all of a sudden a group is special. And it's like, oh, this is special. This is a safe space. New things coming in, boom, disturbs my peace, disturbs my comfort. But what I want to do is I always want to challenge people's comfort, because I challenge my own comfort all the time. In the book, The Way of the Superior Man, it talks about living on the edge of your comfort. Everything, living right on the outside of the edge of your comfort. Like it's an amazing thing to think about. This is where I'm going to get comfortable with being outside of my comfort, outside of the edge of my comfort. And we realize that goals we set for ourselves, we sell ourselves short. Everything we do, we're really selling ourselves short. But what we can realize and what we can learn from that is that this frequency, this intelligence, this energy that flows across the entire universe and the world flows and is individualized as me. That in my awareness to this abundant energy, to love, and love is the connector to it. The capacity in which I'm able to love allows me to receive more of this abundant energy. To accept, to love. Every time I'm in judgment, every time I'm in doubt, anytime that I am in questioning, that I don't choose my choice. Anytime that I don't choose my choice. So the decision and the choices that you made in your life, if you don't choose it, you will become a slave to it, and you will question, you will doubt, and you will make it special, and it will come crashing down. That's the quote unquote love that we've created in our life. We've created a house of cards of specialness. And the ego is just like, just a little bit more. I know the ego wants it to come down. Because as it comes down, you stop focusing on, wow, all things are perfect and in unity and in harmony. All things are going well in my life and my relationship is good. My money's good. And then all of a sudden one card falls. You get your heart broken or you get into a fight with somebody and you take it out on the entire thing. You mess up at your job. Your investment goes to shit. You lose everything. Like what I did. The house of cards, the specialness. I was so focused on looking good and being the man on my college campus. For what? What was the lack that I needed to do that? What was the lack that I needed to fulfill to continue to be the man on the campus? You know, I was a good basketball player. I was the president of my fraternity. And then I finally graduated from college. I'm like, oh shit. This importance, this identity that I had of myself is gone. What am I going to do? Let me own a restaurant. Let me own the restaurant that is right in the center of campus so I can continue to be the man. Why the hell? I think about it right now. I'm like, why would I get into that? If I knew what I know now, 17-hour-a-day work. Like, I didn't, this is my first like real business. You know, I sold security cameras and self-defense products while I was in college as well. But I opened a restaurant. Bet everything on it. And then lost everything. Lost more than everything. But now I think about it, shit, that was the best blessing that I could have had in my life now. That story is so powerful for me. And I think on Monday night I was telling it. And I actually didn't remember this part. And it brought like, I got emotional was when I was leaving everything. I lost it all. I rented a U-Haul. Sitting in my truck with my dog in the front seat, and I took a picture of us, me and my dog, like, hey, new journey, new chapter. Everything that I own was in the back of the U-Haul truck. And I moved to Florida with nothing 6 years ago. So wherever you are now, whatever position you're in, whatever challenges and complications you think you have in your life, you are one choice away and one decision away from turning it all around. That's how powerful you are and your choices are. So choose your choice. Choose your choice so that you may free yourself. Freedom comes from that. Freedom comes from the trust that, man, I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling financially. I'm struggling in my relationships. Whatever you're struggling with, I'm one choice away. And I got to choose the choice that I made. And if I choose this choice, there is no wrong path. See, that's the thing that the Course teaches us is there's no wrong path. Every path we take, it's about deepening your relationship to the Father. It's about becoming a receiver. Because you, every one of us, and I talked about this on Sunday, is you have a ministry. We all have a ministry. Your ministry is determined, or you can tell what your ministry is based on your talents, based on your interests, because we're not all built the same in that way. We all have a little role. We're a little different piece of the whole machinery. Not one ministry is more important than another. Everybody's got a role to play. And God and the Holy Spirit knows what that role is. So then all you have to do is become the best receiver that you can. And how do you do that? How do you receive the information? How do you become a receiver? And it comes from the form of trusting. Everything that happens around you, everything that happens in your life, I trust. that this is the role I'm supposed to play. I'm supposed to meet this person. I'm not here for the money. The money is an effect of how well I receive, how well I play the role that is given to me. If you resist it and you fight it, it's going to be challenging. But you can rest and walk into it with full confidence and choosing your choice. If I wanted to be an artist or if I want to be a musician, yeah, if you look across the board, most musicians are challenged financially when they start. It's the same in everything across the board. When you start in real estate, it's challenging. When you start in a business, it's challenging. Everybody's a starving artist when they start. But the question is, can you play your role? Can you start to focus not on the money? Remember, money is the effect. I stop focusing on the effect and I focus on the cause. The source that will have me do what I'm supposed to be doing. How many people's lives can I touch? The capacity in which I'm able to love opens my channel to be able to receive clear messages and gives me confidence and courage. As the effect manifests and aligns to the cause. The effect, the money, the relationships come as a reflection of how open I can be to receive the Creator's message, God's message. You don't know what you're supposed to do with your ministry. God knows. The Holy Spirit holds that answer for you. Every day before I get on any call, hey, I trust. I give over all desires of anything that I want as an outcome on this call, because I do. I come on as soon as I start. I'm about to jump on the call. I'm like, man, I wish 100 people show up. Why? What do I care if 100 people or one person really show up? But see, I'm like, I want 100 people to show up. I want everybody to give me good feedback. I want this, I want that. And then I'm like, oh shit. I release everything that I think I want. I know and I trust with full confidence and certainty that whoever hears this message today, it will be your doing, not my doing. So where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? And I jump on these calls with no agenda, with no agenda, with clarity, with neutral expectations, with no scripts. I just wing this entire thing. And it's actually starting to be fun, because in the beginning, when I used to wing things, I would just crash and burn because I would not know what the hell I'm saying. And then as I get comfortable with it, this moment will tell me everything I need to know about this moment. The people in this room will carry me forth. We will co-create together. It's not up to me. See, that's the practice of becoming a receptor. And as you receive and download messages, who's going to help you execute it? See, now you're looking for people to help you do the work of God. And then all things just show up as a result of abundance. Because you're looking for power posses, you're looking for allies to help you do the ministry work. You're helping other people get clear on what their ministry work as you get clear on yours. And success just follows that in terms of the material things in this world. Money comes, good deals come, investments come. This week is a big real estate conference here in Vegas. All the brokers, anybody that is anyone is here at this conference. And all I hear everywhere is, man, it is a bloodbath out there. It is hard to find deals and people are struggling. And I'm looking at my deals and the deals that I've done last year. I'm like, wow, they're so good. Like, what's this whole thing about? Right? And then people that there's people that are literally losing. They're about to lose like $12 million, or they're in cash calls, which they're asking their investors for money. You know, they promise something and then they're asking for money. Big players, their house is on fire. I don't know what it's all about. I'm like, okay, maybe. maybe it's hard out there, because I feel like it's not really that hard. I feel like there's so many great deals just popping up all over our group. You know, we hear about this bloodbath that's happening. We hear that the economy is, you know, is tanking and people should be afraid and hold on to your cash. But I feel like everybody around me don't feel like that. We're just like, yeah, cool. Well, here's a great opportunity for us. And I talk about this. There's probably 3 or 4 great opportunities in your life, in your lifetime, that if you said yes to, will drastically change the entire trajectory of your life, of your entire line, okay, your lineage. You break the chains. And if we look back at our lives, did we miss one already? Did we miss 2? Will I miss more? What do I need to do to not miss it? What do I have to say yes to? And then what do I have to choose for myself so that I can change? I can break this chain. I can make an impact in infinity. Make a dent in infinity. That's all I want to do. And then I can go. Or maybe I don't. I still can go. Right? It's the journey. This whole thing is just fun. Like, make it fun. You can have fun with it as long as you don't become possessed by the things of this world. It's a toy. Everything's a toy. I tell the people in our group a lot. I'm like, listen, you're like this eager to get on a deal and this and that. Think about the people right now that are in these conferences. They were so eager to get on deals too. And now they wish they hadn't. Their entire reputation's on the line. Deals are going south. People losing millions of dollars. Would you like that type of stress? Or would you like this, like, ooh, I can't wait to the next deal that comes? Right? It's all about perspective for us. And the better that you can put yourself in a good perspective and be in a space of trust, the sooner you will find your role and what your ministry is. Because I believe that the only problem that the world has is that people don't know the role that they're supposed to play. How do I fit into this world? Instead of being an outsider judging it, what is my role? And people take on roles that aren't their roles. And this is why it's everything just continues to be in this cycle of rat race and fear and scarcity. It just propels that. Can we create the 2%? What is 160 million? What's 160 million times 2%? 1 sec for everybody that's on Instagram. I'm doing a math. Okay. 320,000 people. 320,000 people is what I'm looking to create in my community. Because 320,000 people will touch the lives of 160 million people. And 160 million people is 2% of 8 billion people. 2%. You walk into a room of 50 people, you command the entire room. That's how powerful you are. So you have to choose. If that was the responsibility, everywhere you went, you're like, there's 50 people in the Starbucks. Ooh, I'm a big energy here. You know, it's 2%. 2% is the tipping point. So how do I need to show up here? I can demonstrate generosity. I can demonstrate love. I can demonstrate trust right in the presence of these 50 people, and it will change their lives forever. How do I show up? It's not, I'm no longer concerned about my own comfort. I'm concerned about, I'm not just an individual here. There's 50. There's 50 people in here. Do I show up? If there's a homeless person on the street and there's 50 people watching, do I just walk by this person? Do I just ignore this person right here? How do I inspire love? How do I inspire other people to inspire? See, people think they're joining my group to do real estate, and they realize it ain't about doing real estate. It's about changing the world. Real estate is a byproduct of what's going to happen. It's the effect. It's what just shows up as a reflection of the channel that we can be as a community, of the clarity in which we remember this vision of the 2% that we will impact. This was taught to me. See, somebody had the idea to start a transformational center, creating the 2%. I ended up being touched by this 2%. Now I continue to carry this forth. And then who else is going to continue to carry it forth? Who brought that to her? Who risked their lives back in the day? The Freemasons and the people that carried this knowledge, that were hunted down for having this knowledge. They carried it forth. They knew the power and the responsibility of what they had. I know it. And I hope that I can inspire and just touch people's lives every single day. That's what I do. I wake up early in the morning. I'm like, how do I inspire more people to do this? To inspire, to remember, inspire people to remember, inspire people to inspire people to love. Go ahead, Marlene.
Alex, as you were talking about that, I have to say, I've always, and especially when, once again, I go back to that safe space when I was in my country, among my family, with my friends since maybe fourth grade, I always tried my best, to show that, like compassion, love, and sympathy. And then I moved to the US, right? I went for an MBA. And I remember the second year, this was a cohort system. So you're basically with the same people the 2 years for most part. So in the second year, I was heartbroken because someone like good friends by then told me, it's like, hey, Marlene, do you know that at first you came across like you were always flirting? I'm like, what? Because I hug people, I kiss them, I say, how are you doing? And really meant it. So I was listening to them. So what I guess I'm trying to say is, how do you really express that, but without having the fear of being misunderstood? Like, how can you control that? So what did I do? I closed, right? I closed, and then it's like, oh, what do you want? What's going on here? It's, and I think it's the experience for almost everybody. You give love, you get hurt, and then now you say, hold on, I'm going to be selective with whom I let in, and whom can I share this with. So the result of that, though, is you stop being yourself and you stop shifting the energy in that 50 people group, so now is work, now is this and that. And you just know you cannot be that way because you are being too naive. How do you go about that?
Yeah. So it's the same thing. Kids express, they start singing and somebody's like, oh my God, you're too loud, or your voice sucks, or stop doing it, stop attracting so much attention. See, this is just the fear that is projected from people because they themselves didn't do it. People want the love, people want the hug, people want the kiss. But because their own fears come up and they're not doing that themselves, they project it. They project their own judgments. And this is why we want to practice. And we see that, hey, this is just their own, this is just fear showing up. Am I going to let fear win? See, it requires conscious effort to realize that in this moment, I'm coming from love. You may perceive it as one thing, but my consistency, and this is why consistency is one of the most important things in the world. Doesn't matter what people say to you. Your consistency will win their hearts over. People will judge you. People judge the way that I'm consistent about what I'm doing all the time.
Alex, I heard this thing. It said that even Jesus and Gandhi and Mother Teresa and the Buddha, they're all misunderstood. So it doesn't matter if people understand or don't understand. Some people will. Something.
Yeah, because fear will be projected all the time. LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players ever, hated on all the time. Michael Jordan, when he was in his prime, when he was in the league, hated on all the time. Everybody, Kobe Bryant, and I do all the basketball because I love basketball. And then now Kobe dies, he's like the greatest hero of all time. Everything about his consistency, about his practice, about his desire, it's all good now. But when he was playing, it was, oh, he's a ball hog. He wants to take every shot. Same thing said to Jordan. Same thing said about LeBron. Should they just give up for these things? See, the practice of what we're doing and why we do this work every day is to recognize what is an illusion, what isn't real, and what is real. What isn't real is all the perceived attack that I think is happening. I've joined a bunch of mentorships and programs, and I've done a lot of things in my life, and I got kicked out for it. I got kicked out for the things that I do because somebody else said something else, like, oh, he's doing this, and I don't know what they're saying. I get kicked out. And then I got to like talk to the person who's running it, and they're like, okay, you're back in. And it just happens. Why should I just stop? I know what I'm doing. I know my intentions. People will hate until they don't. Until you're consistent enough and people are like, oh, he's for real. I've been doing this call 4 years. There was times that I was like, am I qualified to do this call? Who am I to do this call? Other people, who's he to teach A Course in Miracles? Who's he to do this? I don't know. You're not telling me if I can or can't. I'm not telling myself that.
Grateful for you, brother, taking the time, giving us your love and all of the intentions that you share and opening up the space for healing, my man.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. And I just wanted to say something that really, right now, the word, I don't know, for some reason, I'm getting like one word every time when I talk to you. Right now, it's like pay attention to my own intentions. So that's all that matters, right? So thank you.
And look at this. You went from having this idea of you can't share because it's now unsafe to just like being the biggest sharer because you're encouraged. See, this is what we need to do. I don't remember where I read something and somebody was like, I don't know how to be a father. And I hear one line, and this one line changed my life and actually give me the confidence of just, I'll be a father whenever. Never criticize, always encourage. And show up to the sports games. Show up to what they're doing.
I've got one request, and that is like when we're on this call, it's so imperative that the connection that's being made in this call, that Alex is creating the nucleus of this micro community that's growing and growing, is that everybody, if you can possibly be on the call with the video on, be present to the moment, and just be a part, because when you look at someone's eyes, it shifts from, rather than just being on an electronic unit and just listening in and just being a voice. Show yourself, because it empowers Alex. It helps him to channel through, and it supports each and every one of us. So that's my request.
Thank you, Mark, for that request. I'll tell you right now, Christina, who's on this call right now, whether it's her picture that's showing or that she's actually on video, she's always smiling, and it does shift the confidence and the way in which probably messages are delivered. And it's true. That is true. That's why when I join people's Zooms and stuff, I make sure my camera's on. And this is not, it's not bad and wrong. No judgment at all. It's Mark's request. I'm okay either way. Because all I got to do is just look at myself and smile at myself. Right. And yeah, but it takes practice. It takes a constant daily practice, day in and day out. But when you are on a call and you give other people, like, yes, okay, good job. I'm paying attention. I'm smiling. I'm like, I'm taking it in. I don't even know if I'm taking it in, but yeah, I want to encourage you. Keep bringing it. Keep bringing it. It just gives the space a new moment. You, because there's 50 people there, you are making the room happen. Instead of sitting there with your arm crossed, and I made a Instagram video about this. Instead of sitting somewhere with your arm crossed, like, do me, Alex, do me. You can't make me smile. Like, who the hell wants to be around that? Right? You're creating a certain environment in this place. If that's the case, just turn the camera off. It's fine. I'm okay. So yeah, but thank you, Mark. It is true. Like, this is the power that we have. Without words, we have that type of power.
Alex, just wanted to say right now, because of this beautiful sky in my right eye, that's why I don't turn my camera on. But next time when I'm okay, I will do it. I promise. Thank you.
Yeah. So, always encourage, never criticize. It's almost not even for the kid. It's for me. But I know, and I practice this every day with people. Like, because sometimes our automatic goes to criticism, right? Sometimes when I'm not conscious of what I'm saying and doing in that moment, I say some dumb shit, and I'm saying it like not in a bad and wrong or judgmental way, but yeah, I say things that I'm like, oh man, what the hell did I just say right there? That's not in alignment to what I'm about. But that doesn't really happen much anymore. But sometimes when I'm with old friends and the old side comes back up and the ego starts to play around, I don't know, that happens. But it's just a forgetting in that moment. And the purpose of forgetting is to
Remember.
strengthen remembering. That's right. See, people are actually listening. Hey, Tina. Hey, Sal.
Hey, Alex, I think it's the same way as like when you're driving and all of a sudden you're aware. It's like, holy crap, who was driving for the last 10 minutes? You're just like getting there. And I think that's where that I was saying the same thing. It's like, damn, did I really just say that? It's like you lose consciousness and presence for the moment, and all of a sudden just ego says, oh, he's falling asleep for a moment. Here, let me just step in and say a couple things that he'll regret later.
Yeah, man. Yeah. For sure. And yeah, but I hope that today's call, created some sort of whatever amount that you've seen or, participated in, that it had a impact in your life. Okay. Allow it to be. You are here. You chose to be here. Choose your choice. Let something from today's call impact the course, the direction of your life. Let it be a course correction for you. Every moment is a new moment full of new possibilities. So with that being said, it is that time that we conclude with a final lesson. So, yeah, thank you. Take a deep breath in, everybody, that you can, and let go of all the ideas and all the identities and all the stuff that you try to make sense of, that you got to judge. Just let it all go. No thoughts. Nothing that was taught today is not something that you didn't already know. It's just a simple reminder. And we'll do it again and again, and on Sunday and on Wednesday and Monday, Tuesday. I have calls like multiple times a day now. It's fun. So, and then let this last lesson today be, and this is dedicated to you, Marlene, and to everybody else that's here, because this must be something that we all needed to hear. Lesson 281, I can be hurt. Oh, what? I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. Father, your son or your child is perfect. When I think that I am hurt in any way, it is because I have forgotten who I am and that I am as you created me. Your thoughts can only bring me happiness. If ever I am sad or hurt or ill, I have forgotten what you think and put my little meaningless idea in place of where your thought belongs and where they are. I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. The thoughts I think with you can only bless. The thoughts I think with you alone are true. I will not hurt myself today, for I am far beyond all pain. My Father placed me safe in heaven, watching over me, and I will not attack the Son he loves, for what he loves is also mine to love. I can be hurt by nothing but my thoughts. Amen. Aho. Hayaya. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have fun. Do it all. Do it all with some fun, with some joy. Nothing's really that heavy, you know? So I'll see you all later. Bye.